Introduce himself. And all you have to say.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Linda Lloyd, and I'm the presiding officer assigned by the board to conduct this portion of the Category 1 license renewal hearing for Greenwood Gaming and Entertainment, Inc., doing Parx Casino. Before we begin, if we could all please turn off or to vibrate our cell phones and other electronic devices. And I would like to remind everyone that this proceeding is being recorded today by the court reporter who's down here on the end, as well as being recorded on video and streamed to the board's website as well. That live stream video will also be posted on the board's website later today or tomorrow, along with any exhibits that are entered into the record today. As the presiding officer, I call this hearing to order. The date is Thursday, April 3rd, 2025. The time is 10:31, and the location is the Bensalem Township Municipal Building, located at 2400 Byberry Road in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania Racehorse Development and Gaming Act, as amended, requires at Section 1326 that an operator's license shall be subject to renewal by the board every 5 years. This license renewal is convened by the board pursuant to the mandate found in Section 1205B of the Gaming Act that requires, as part of the renewal process, a public input hearing be held in the municipality where the license facility is located. This public hearing was advertised on the board's website, announced by the board at public meetings, and advertised in local newspaper. The board members present today for the hearing are our Board Chair Denise Smiler, Commissioner Dermody, Commissioner Dillon, and our newest Commissioner, Commissioner Dunbar, and then to my left, Commissioners Regan and Manzano Diaz. The hearing, we'll begin the hearing with a presentation by Parx, and after that, our Enforcement Council and Board will have an opportunity to ask Parx witnesses questions. And then we'll hear from our Enforcement Council's witnesses, again with opportunity for Parx and or our board members to ask those witnesses questions. After the close of testimony and evidence from both the parties, those individuals who've registered to speak today will be heard as their name is called, and they will each have about 5 minutes for their comments. Following that, Parx can make a short closing statement if you'd like, and as well as OEC. And that will conclude our hearing. I would ask that any witnesses speak loudly and clearly into the microphones we've provided. They pick up pretty well, so we shouldn't have a problem hearing anybody. And when it's your first time to speak, if you could just spell your name for the court reporter. I think she has most of the spellings, but just in case she does not. So we will start with swearing in the witnesses from Parx and any witnesses from our Office of Enforcement Council. And then I understand that Senator Ferry, Representative Tomlinson, our Commissioner DiGirolamo, and the Mayor DiGirolamo are all going to speak today. So if they would also stand and raise your right hand to be sworn. I'll have the court reporter swear them.
And do you all swear or affirm that your testimonies today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
So I will invite Mayor DiGirolamo to the podium, and you can welcome us and kick this off. Just be careful of the cord there. And I think the podium microphone is on, so if you'd like to.
Good morning. Welcome to Bensalem. Glad to have you all down here in this great community we have here. I'd like to start out by, I've been here since before the casino as mayor. It's my 32nd year. I went through the process of the casino when it first started and when it was done in 2006. The the other America's mayor, if you remember Governor Rendell, who I worked with very closely with all of the legislators and everything to get this done for Parx and all of the casinos we have in Pennsylvania. Through that process, I've learned a lot how it was going to work, how we would get it to work, and how it would be successful. All of those things happened here in Bensalem. We are so fortunate here in Bensalem. Parx has created the most jobs of all of Bensalem, the employees they have, and certainly in the county. They're one of the top employers. And they have done a great job on that. I think if anybody knows and looks at, the people that work there are very happy, great jobs, and they just, for the whole time I've been here, I've never heard a bad word over there about that. I've never heard, I'm perfectly honest with you, I've never heard a bad word in our casino here. All of our residents are very happy. They are community people. They work very hard in the community to help the community. They do all kinds of things, and not just for Bensalem, but they do a lot around Bucks County and the communities. They do for everybody. And I'm telling you, I don't know where we'd have been without them, to be perfectly honest with you. And I have a casino board that I formed right as soon as they came in. We have a board that the casino is at every one of their meetings and goes over everything. They report back to me, so anything I'm missing out, I find out about the casino. And I can't tell you the relationship we have with our police department and over at Parx Casino. They work very close with them and with the state police, of course. And Parx has actually generated that. When I first heard that they were coming in, I hired 19 more police immediately, anticipating that we needed them. Did we need them? We need them for our whole community. It turns out that our problem is not at Parx Casino with our police. Our police help there as much as they can and on a regular basis. And it's a great relationship that we have with them. And I had mentioned our casino board that I formed immediately. Some of the members are here. If you raise your hand, some of the members are here. And I think I can speak for them. I know they're not going to testify. I can speak for them. But they have a great relationship. There's 7 of them that's on that board, and they get to hear everything about what's going on over there. There's no secrets. There's nothing going on that we don't know about. I have been, I can't tell you, so pleased with what they have done. None of the things that you heard about when casinos were going to come into Pennsylvania, you heard all the bad stuff. And I get it. I get it. There's sometimes have been some things, I guess, around the casinos, somewhere in Vegas or where. We haven't had none of those problems. Zero. And I can't speak for around the rest of the state. Certainly that's something you speak to. But I can tell you here in Bensalem, we are very, very, very fortunate to have Parx Casino. They give back to this community in so many ways. And we're grateful for that. So I just hope that the board sees everything and the rest of the testimony here, hopefully it'll be all positive, that you'll renew this license that is much needed in our community here in Bensalem. So if there are any questions for me, I'd be glad to answer them. I'm transparent as you can be, so if you got something for me you think's tough, I'm ready.
Doesn't look like anyone has any
Is that an
questions.
aye vote already then? Thank you, and God bless you for being here.
Thank you. So now we'll turn to Parx and your presentation.
The second slide. Thank you, Director Lloyd. Chair Smiler, Commissioners, members of the PGCB staff, OEC office, Executive Director. I am Karen Ashford, Karin Ashford, Chief Legal Officer at Greenwood Gaming and Entertainment, which does business as Parx Casino. And I'm so pleased to welcome you to beautiful Bensalem on this rainy Thursday to take part in the public hearing part of Parx Casino's gaming license renewal application. We are so pleased that all of the board members took time to come to Bensalem today in person to be part of today's proceedings. And we look forward to sharing an overview of our operations and explaining how immensely proud we are of what Parx Casino has been able to accomplish as a licensee. With me today to take you through our presentation is our Chief Executive Officer, Eric Hausler, E-R-I-C-H-A-U-S-L-E-R, who has been with the company since 2020. Eric came to Parx from Isle of Capri, a gaming company that operated 15 casinos in 8 jurisdictions in the United States that are now owned by Caesars. Eric was also a founding board member of Vici Properties, a gaming REIT that now owns 53 casinos, including one in Pennsylvania. Eric started his career as a Wall Street gaming analyst and also worked as a gaming regulator in New Jersey. Eric will present an overview of Parx's operations and accomplishments. Also with me today is Ron Davis, R-O-N-D-A-V-I-S, our Director of Diversity and Community Development. Ron has been with the company since the beginning. He was the first employee hired at Parx by its chairman, Bob Green, when the Gaming Act first passed. Ron has a vast network of community connections throughout Bensalem and the greater Philadelphia area. Ron sits on 16 boards and local charitable organizations, and his work is integral to our goal of establishing and maintaining close ties with our community organizations and supporting local charitable endeavors. Ron came to Parx from the Philadelphia Convention Center Bureau, and as some of you may know, Ron started his career in the NFL, first as a San Francisco 49er, and then with the Atlanta Falcons and the St. Louis Cardinals. Ron's work in outreach has been integral in making Parx a leader in charitable giving in the state, and Ron will outline Parx's workforce engagement, community involvement, and charitable giving. I joined Parx as Chief Legal Officer 3 years ago, coming from a long career as a gaming attorney at Penn National Gaming, and my role today is to introduce the speakers and guide Parx's presentation. Also with us today is our Chief Compliance Officer, Grace Flanagan, who will not be presenting today, but is here to assist in answering any compliance-related questions the board or the PGCB or OEC may have today. And we have our paralegals, Jamie Warner and Rose Harrison, and our diversity coordinator, Michelle Salduti, assisting us today. In support of our license renewal today, we have several public officials in attendance who will be introducing themselves and speaking in support of Parx's renewal application. You already heard from the Honorable Joe DiGirolamo, our mayor, but we also have the Honorable Frank Ferry, F-R-A-N-K, F-A-R-R-Y, Senator of the 6th Senatorial District of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, which covers Bucks County and includes Bensalem and Parx Casino. We also have the Honorable Kathleen C. Tomlinson, K-A-T-H-L-E-E-N-T-O-M-L-I-N-S-O-N, the state representative of the 18th Legislative District of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, which includes Bensalem Township. In addition, we have Eugene DiGirolamo, D-E-U-G-E-N-E, D-I-G-I-R-O-L-A-M-O, Commissioner of Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And I just wanted to note, although not speaking, present today, I understand, is State Representative Joseph Hogan of the 142nd Legislative District, which is from our neighboring Langhorne, where many of our employees come from. Also speaking during the public comment section on our behalf are William J. Ferrara, W-I-L-L-I-A-M-F-E-R-R-E-R-A, the Executive Director of the Lower Bucks County Chamber of Commerce, Christopher N. Francis, C-H-R-I-S-T-O-P-H-E-R-N-F-R-A-N-C-I-S, President, CEO, and Chief Clinical Officer of Livengren Foundation, and Karen Downer, K-A-R-E-N-D-O-W-N-E-R, former President of the Bucks County NAACP. We will have additional speakers during the public comment section, and now I'd like to turn it over to our CEO, Eric Hausler.
Thank you, Karen. I'm going to try the impossible here, which is to run the slide projector and speak at the same time. It's usually way above my technical capabilities. I want to thank you for the opportunity to present here today. Last time I did this, I didn't wear glasses, so that's new for me too. And I want to thank the commission members and the staff for taking the time to be here today. I also want to thank our elected officials, and we have a a lot of support from the local community. We take that very seriously and are grateful and appreciate people coming out to support us for our relicensing. Parx is a great story, and it continues to be a great story for both our region and the Commonwealth. We continue to be the #1 grossing slot revenue producer in Pennsylvania since we opened in 2006. We have over $700 million invested in the Parx complex, and we continue to grow our footprint. It's been an eventful 5 years since our last renewal. Most notably, in 2020, we closed for 3.5 months for COVID and reopened with significantly diminished capacity. During that time, we paid all of our team members for over a month and then maintained their health benefits at our cost for the duration of that closure. When we reopened, we voluntarily ceased smoking at Parx, and we've never brought it back. At the same time, we had a new competitor open, the Live Casino in Philadelphia. We've also seen the impact of the rapid proliferation of skill games and illegal slot machines all over our region. Finally, we are in the online business. That has continued to grow. We participate through our Bet Parx operations, but more and more customers use the convenience of online betting. Despite these challenges, Parx has continued to flourish and reinvest in our property and our people while maintaining a strong balance sheet and significant financial flexibility. Our dedication is really 2 to 4 pillars for success as an organization. Those have helped us navigate these challenges, and we remain committed to those pillars going forward. We'll speak to each of them today. First, we have a largely local group of diverse and dedicated team members who are well-trained, well-paid, and provide excellent guest service. Second, we have an industry-leading asset. We continue to invest and grow our physical plant. Third, we take our commitment to the community and region seriously, and as part of the fabric of our culture as a company. We invest significant time and money in charitable and community organizations in our region. Fourth, we have a strong track record, it's tough to say, of regulatory compliance. We host approximately 4 million people a year at Parx now, and our regulatory infractions are at or below other industry players here in Pennsylvania. As you know, I'm not going to go through all of this history, but we opened in 2006 at the old Philadelphia Park racetrack. That was the temporary building that we now call Parx East. We moved to the current facility in 2009, had 3,000 slot machines, and we added 57 table games when table games were legalized. Between 2017, we added our poker room, which used to be at Parx East, which is now in the back of the building. The Excite Center, the entertainment venue, that has 1,400 seats. We added some new restaurant outlets, including the beer garden, which you see here on the right, which has ceilings and windows that open to the outside. Ironically, it was the only venue we could serve food in during the pandemic because it opened to the outside. Today we've got about 165,000 square feet, a little under 3,000 slot machines, 203 table games, including 131 traditional table games, 12 hybrids, and 48 poker tables. We also have 37 self-service sports wagering kiosks, both in the main casino area as well as within our sportsbook complex. We've continued to invest in Parx. Since our last relicense, we've invested over $42 million. We opened a $10 million sportsbook. You can see that here on the right. Playtech hosts its live gaming studio in the mezzanine level of Parx. And we've made significant upgrades to our security and surveillance infrastructure as technology continues to improve there. And we have spent an enormous amount of money on cybersecurity protections like most companies. And now have a group of cybersecurity, 6 people that work in our cybersecurity unit. We also continue to invest heavily in the casino experience. We spend about $4 to $5 million a year on slot machines. That's just renewals of capital for the existing floor print. So the floor, I think, looks better today than it has. In recent times, we've upped that spend more recently, and the floor is full of newer games. Additional upgrades, during post the pandemic, we renovated the 360 nightclub actually while we were closed. It was much easier to do. We added a heated smoking patio outside the end of the building to accommodate customers who wanted to smoke. We moved our promotions booth. We relocated Bamboo, the Asian restaurant, on property. We also added charging stations throughout Parx. Finally, I'm particularly excited. We recently purchased, you can see it down on the bottom right, the Inn at Fox Chase, which is a 167-room hotel adjacent to the Parx complex. So there's a picture of that. It has a pool, among other things. We have that hotel currently closed, and we are gutting it from floor to ceiling, including the lobbies, the gym. So when it reopens, it will, everything inside of the building will be new. All the rooms will be fully renovated, all the bathrooms. The sixth floor, which is 32 guest rooms, will be converted into 15 double bay suites, as well as one 4-bay presidential suite. So I think it will be consistent with the Parx experience when it's done. I think it'll probably be one of the best hotels in this region, and we really look forward to getting that back online. Expect it to be online by the end of this year. A couple of photos here. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on them. This is the Excite Center, seats 1,400, but we can also pull those seats, so we host poker tournaments and special events in there. This is the remodeled 360 that was done since the last time we were in front of you all. That we host bands there Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, everything from jazz to rock bands, depending on what it is, and comedy nights as well. This is the pub, the Gastro Pub. This was added as part of the 17 and 18 renovations, and this attaches to the beer garden, which goes out the back of the facility. Here's the beer garden again, another photo there. The poker room, 48 poker tables. Particularly proud of the fact that if you go to Bravo Poker at any given time, we will have top 5 number of poker games in play anywhere in the country. So we have a big poker operation, and players know that they get a good game with us. This is the sports book. We opened that in 2000. That part of that renovation there, so you can see there is VIP seating there. There's there's a large bar off to the back, a cage to the right there, and then those televisions that are there wrap around. And for something like March Madness, we'll have all the games displayed. It's pretty empty in this photo, but it's a particularly hopping place during the basketball tournament. This is the relocated Bamboo. This was, Bamboo didn't have a bar, the old Bamboo didn't have a bar, nor did it have sushi. So we added the sushi counter there to the right as part of the long bar. And this was an underutilized restaurant space in the back of the building that we re-enlivened, and it's been quite successful. This is the hotel. This is a photo of what will be the breakfast and lobby area of the hotel once the renovations are done. I don't have before and after photos here, but I can assure you this is dramatically different than what it looks like right now. The left is the check-in desk, what it'll look like. The name of it will likely be Parx View Hotel, but we're still working on that. The top right is one of the rooms. That is one of the bigger suites, the 2-bay suites. You can see it has a living room area there. On the bottom it will be that's a standard king room, so very contemporary, very upscale feel and look, and everything in those rooms will be new when we're done. In addition, we're a great story in terms of our revenue we generate to the Commonwealth. I think that's a part of, obviously, why we're here. It's a staggering number. We've paid $4.6 billion of gaming taxes since we opened, $3.6 billion from slots, $358 million from table games. Sports betting is $43 million, and online casinos $131 million. I would venture to guess that we're probably one of the largest taxpayers in the Commonwealth. We continue to invest in our racing operation. Racing is struggling, to be candid. We've seen a steady decline both at Parx and nationwide, but that we continue to keep the track in good working order and focus primarily on safety of horses and horse people. We've made several renovations to benefit the horse folks. Renovated the jockey room a year or two ago. The detention barns, none of this is particularly interesting, but sort of the blocking and tackling you need to do when you board 1,000 horses 12 months a year full-time. And so we continue to do that. We paid purses of $48 million out of our slot revenues in 2024. That's 341,000 average purses per day. It's down a little bit, largely because our slot revenues are down a little bit over the past 5 years. I'm particularly excited. The PA Derby is now a Grade 1 stakes race. And last year, and the Cotillion is also Grade 1, so the Cotillion is for fillies. Last year, we had several of the Kentucky Derby horses in, Preakness horses, Belmont horses, and so it's really become a prep race for the Breeders' Cup in October. And so we get some great thoroughbreds in for that. We continue to look after horses after they retire. We make an annual donation of $50,000 to Turning for Home, which handles retired thoroughbred horses. I think since we last were here, sports wagering was just coming up. We have the sports book we showed you. We also opened Parx Shippensburg in 2023 under the Category 4 licenses. That's about 500 slot machines and 40 electronic table games. And as I mentioned, our iGaming operation operates primarily out of Bensalem. The team is based, half a mile from here. And we operate in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, and Michigan. All of our employees who are in customer-facing positions and up the chain in terms of leadership are trained in responsible gaming on an annual basis. We understand we're in the gaming business. We make sure we take that commitment seriously. We do make an annual contribution to the Council of Compulsive Gambling. We sponsor the training here in Eastern Pennsylvania. And we continue to support the Living Grand Gambling Addiction Treatment Program, which is a mile or so that way, and have not only been active there financially, but have a board seat there as well for our participation. Great story on our workforce, 2,000 employees in gaming positions, 191 in racing operations. 87% of those folks live in Pennsylvania. We continue, some of the newer roles we've created are cybersecurity, as I mentioned, is a relatively new group for us. Our iGaming operations has 100 employees at this point. Our full-time, part-time mix is about 1,400 of those folks are full-time. If you're full-time, you're eligible for full health benefits with us. Those benefits are as good as anything in the business, or better. Having worked for several gaming companies, these are the best benefits I've had. All of us are on the same benefits, so I know exactly what the employees are. We haven't raised our employee contribution to the health benefits side in 3 years, despite the fact that our health benefits continue to go up. Our cost of providing benefits continues to grow up. We think it helps us remain competitive, be a competitive employer in the region, and it's a great story with our team members. There's a variety of other benefits, health benefit, dental, vision, company match 401k, paid vacation time, all of that is eligible if you're a full-time employee. We generally will fill 75% of our roles with current team members. We also recently, in the last few years, developed Parx University. We saw a gap where we were promoting team members into management level positions because of their technical capabilities. But they really needed to learn how to lead and manage people, which is a different skill. And so Parx University helps that gap for the mid-level management team. We're also the only fully non-smoking work environment in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, as far as I know, in terms of casino work environment. There's obviously plenty of work environments. And Shippensburg is also non-smoking. We have a great group of people, very inclusive. 49% of our total employee workforce are historically underrepresented groups. 39% are female. That's about consistent, maybe a little bit ahead of where the industry is in Pennsylvania. At the management level and director level, 33% female minorities, 23%. I'm particularly proud we speak over 12 languages at Parx across the enterprise. It's pretty impressive when you think about the scale of coordinating resources and communications with many team members whose English is a second language for them. We also participate in programs to hire disabled workers and veterans. I'm going to turn this piece over to Ron to talk about the stuff we do outside of Parx in the community. Thanks.
Thank you, Eric, and it is my pleasure to be here. This is my 20th year with Parx. So I was here at the start of this great venture with you. And first of all, welcome and thank you, Madam Chair and Board, for allowing me to present to you and to our community. The excitement that I have is just so great that we build effective teams inside and outside the organization. And as was stated, I played years ago in the NFL. I played for a great team that went to the playoffs. I played for a high school team that didn't score. So I know what effective teams are. And I've been able, with others, and you heard some of the names that have importance, develop a plan to share our success, with the community. That was from day one. Whatever we did, we wanted to make sure we built bridges to the community, whether it be in any way, form, or fashion to strengthen that community. Because organizational and community development excellence is what we strive for. Organizational and community excellence. And that excellence only comes when we, again, partner and we become stronger. And over the 20 years, and certainly the last 5 years, we've done that. But with the help of others. And I'm going to mention some of those names that have joined us, and I appreciate them coming so much because we share a lot of the passion for growing people. And we feel very strongly it's people first in our communities that will make the difference. And we believe in not only sharing our success, but servant leadership. We feel servant leadership will take us all out of wherever we are in the community, our lives, our families. Servant leadership, serving something bigger than yourself. And so we have developed teams within the organization through, we call them ERGs, employee resource groups. Outside the organization, we serve on panels and you'll see that in our presentation. But I want to just recognize some people who may not be on the call list. But Chris Francis from Live and Grin, I think he is on. Chris and Donna Patty from as chair of our Ben Salem Gaming Advisory Board. Karen O'Donnell of Bucks County Community College. Chief's over there. Habitat for Humanity President Florence Kowalska. Florence. Bob Norcus, Ben Salem Economic Development. Linda Sally, African American Museum of Bucks. Karen Downer, Bucks County NAACP. Richard Snow, CEO of UNCF. Regina Harrison, CEO of African American Chamber of Commerce. Shavar Hollinger, American Red Cross Executive. Bill Ferreira, Executive Director of Lower Bucks Chamber. And Marty Burke, Caring for Friends, along with Joe Zaffron, Director of Tour of Honor. We also have Teresa Farah from Central Bucks Chamber. I want to mention those people because we believe, first of all, they came forward, and I thank them for coming forward to support this request. We believe that people make the difference, and we've seen that in Parx over the 20 years, but it takes a team. It takes, obviously, a CEO and board that believes that, but also takes employees that believe that, and it takes a community that believes that. So we're invested in all those areas. Getting to the numbers, in construction, over the past 5 years, Parx has a strong record of commitment to the local community and inclusive work vendor partnerships. Local business enterprise, state expenditures, and LBE is very important to us. Because again, when we started and when we continue, we generate local business, not only the Bucks, but surrounding counties. That's LBE, very important, along with MBE and WBE. Expenditures are 30.5. We've had 15 how to do business with Parx meetings with MBE, WBE, and LBE suppliers and vendors. Over 800 outreach meetings and MBE, WBE, LBE individual suppliers. And that's just not Ron Davis. There's a team that does that. And I'm very proud of that team that does the outreach and inreach. Because, again, employees have got to believe what you're doing. And, again, it takes a team inside and outside the organization to do it. Active membership in Eastern Minority Supplier Development Council is important. Active membership in the WBE, or Women's Business Enterprise Council. Our community involvement highlights. We are active a member in local business development groups, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, African American Chamber of Commerce, Asian American Chamber, Greater Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce, Ben Salem Business Association, Lower Bucks and Chamber of Commerce, and Central Bucks Chambers, Visit Bucks, Northeast Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce, Ben Salem Economic Development Council. Bob Norcus is here that represents that great organization, and Transportation Managers Association. Since 2019, we've contributed more than $2.9 million through Pennsylvania Educational Improvement Tax Credit, EITC, and Opportunity Scholarship Tax. Community involvement highlights. Since 2019, Parx has awarded $184,000 in scholarships to 150 college-bound students. We have a process where our staff becomes the jurors, and we get applications from 5 different schools. They examine those applications, and we award scholarships. It gives, again, a vision of trying to help to the next level. We meet regularly with the Gaming Advisory Board to ensure the advisory committee is informed about current operations and future plans. Parks team members are on area boards, and I encourage that from the beginning. I'm on 16 boards. That's down from 22. I was on the NFL board of directors. It's crazy. I'm blessed. I was just elected by Mother Bethel, which is the oldest black church in America, to their trustee board chair. So, there's reasons for outreach, and obviously I can't say no. So we're it's very important. But so do our team members are on boards, and so we encourage that because we get to know what the organization's about. We get to help them, not only with money, but looking at the priority of the things that they're doing, helping on a very base level, but helping where it's needed. We have partnerships with Living Green Gambling Addiction Treatment Program, the Community College of Philadelphia, Bucks County Community College, a Student Empowerment Program, Caring for Friends, which is a fantastic organization. I mentioned them particularly. They're fantastic. Habitat for Humanity, of course, and Ben Salem Economic Development Council. Charitable work. Parx is the highest charitable giving casino in Pennsylvania. It has been since opening. It is dynamic. I mean, we're probably at least 4 to 1 to all the casinos combined, as you probably know if you read the metrics. And I must comment that throughout the 20 years I've been here, Moselle Daniels in particular has been great to keep us accountable, keep us aware of where we have missteps. She's been great, as well as the other staff members from the gaming board. They have really been great. Since 2019, we have donations and established sponsors of $70 million to 700 organizations. Donations made to international, national, and local groups that support varied causes. And these are listed on this sheet, but the passion that we have for each one of these is just outstanding. I'll pick out a couple. NAACP, we host the NAACP annual dinner. We have for at least 6 years. We help with the, of course, Council on Compulsive Gambling. We support the council. Special Olympics, we just had the Polar Pop. Were you not familiar with that? That's the disabled outreach that is done every year, and you hold a balloon over your head and you pop it, and we give to that cause. Sometimes you can get real wet in that vein. Fallen firefighters and veterans outreach programs. We have probably not the most unique, but it is in a way, Tour of Honor, and we have Joe Saffron here, who's the head of Joe. Is he still here? Yeah. Oh, he must have gone in. We actually take veterans, or help take veterans, to Washington, D.C. on buses and they tour the various monuments, they get lunch. Roads are clear by each state, and people actually get out of their cars to salute the buses going down the road. So it's very emotional, but it's a part of America. They come back to us, and we'll be doing this Monday, and so if anybody's around, you can join us. They come back and they have a USO show and welcome them back in front of 2,000, 3,000 people waving flags. So it's truly America. It's part of our culture, part of what we've done, and been effective doing it. So those kind of things are just a highlight of what we do. And then just giving the idea of the awards of recognition, and we're proud to be part of that, but our recognition really comes when we open doors. That's why I'm here, sitting here after 20 years. We open doors for a lot of people, and we point a direction of positive change. We also want to be a crucible of good in every situation that we have, a crucible of good. And I think that message hopefully will get out to everyone who deals with parks in any way. Certainly we have the quality, world-class facilities, but we want to be also a crucible of good as we go along. So we won all the awards that you see, and I won't spend time. I do want to point out the Ben Sale Notary Business Award is supposed to be Rotary. We like notaries, but I want to point that out too. Yeah, I like a notary. But we are just proud, and the acronym that we use a lot is Parx, stands for P-A-R-X, but we kind of take that Parx, always reaching for excellence. So excellence is our goal, and whatever we do. Excellence, our outreach, and for a reason, the CEO and others let me be on TV, and I talk about that excellence. And I have tremendous gratitude for that effort. So I want to thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Karen?
So next we can call up some of our elected officials.
We're going to go through questions and keep the flow.
Okay.
So we'll turn to our Office of Enforcement Counsel. Do you have questions for Parks witnesses?
Just a few. Thank you, Director Lloyd. Good morning, members of the board. Elizabeth Boehm, Elizabeth Boehm, Assistant Enforcement Counsel with the Office of Enforcement Counsel. I'd like to start with slide 25, page 25, if bring it up.
I got to go back. Okay, there we go.
Thank you. Regarding the 10,000 square foot sports book, Parks' latest OP approved January 2025, which is OP 33, lists the sports wagering area as 7,519 square feet. Could you please explain this variance?
I think when we say 10,000, that was the shell space we built. So when we added 10,000 square feet to the building, so it's probably a more colloquial reference than a regulatory reference.
Okay.
So there's some back of the house, there's a bar there, balls that came in subsequent to the build, so it's probably just a...
And are there currently any plans to reduce number of slot machines on the gaming floor?
No, I think we're at a pretty good level. We put, what do we have, 3,000 games on the busiest nights. We put 2,200 in play. That's rare. Most Saturday nights will be around 1,600 to 1,700 games at peak. We could probably go smaller, but I feel like the floor, in terms of what we actually put into play, you always want some margin for error there because people don't, like an airport, people will always seek out an empty seat on each side of them if they can, rather than sit between two people. So there is always some extra, but I think we're comfortable with where we are right now in terms of game counts. If we see the need for something we really want to add to the facility, we might adjust the game counts around, but I don't see that right now.
26. Which departments receive unattended minor training? Can you speak to?
That is part of our OSHA training, and so that would be all employees. In terms of unattended minors, so OSHA falls with, responsible alcohol service, not RAMP, but there's a lower level of that. OSHA training on how to handle chemicals, fire safety, that kind of stuff, and it falls into that training, which is all the employees on unattended minors. It falls under kind of the responsible gaming unit, which includes compulsive, children in cars, underage, that type of thing.
And what percentage are ramp trained then?
I have that right here. 37, all employees who are required to be certified are, 37% are RAMP certified. And then we do an added level of training. What do we call that?
On alcohol service, there's additional training for all of those who are RAMP certified, but additional employees such as, valet, others who are customer facing.
That training is mostly focused on dram shop. We're teaching them about dram shop claims and the consequences of over-service. And so it's an added level of training that we put bartenders and people who are actually serving alcohol through.
And about how long must team members work before they are eligible for the full-time benefits?
90 days.
And what are part-time workers eligible for certain benefits? Paid time off?
No, you have to be above, I believe our benefits program dictates, I think it's 32 hours.
Is Parx Casino facing any current staffing, hiring, or retention challenges?
It's gotten better. Post the pandemic, we were woefully short of staff because, candidly, the government was paying people to stay home. And so a lot of folks just didn't come back to work. And that's gotten better. We raised all our base rates. When I got to the company in 2020, our base rates for non-tip positions were around $13. They're now closer to $19. And so that's competitive with Amazon, the big warehouse companies and things like that. It's probably at least as good or better than Atlantic City's base rates for non-tip positions. That eased off a lot of that pressure from the inflation. We've continued to put annual raises through for the team members. So I think we're at a pretty good point now in terms of finding qualified people. We're always hiring. There's a certain level of turnover in our business. It runs 24 hours a day. People get in, they're working grave shift, and all of a sudden it's like, well, I don't like this. And so we're always turning. I think we had 600 in fiscal 24, and we hired 300, so we're always turning people over. I think our turnover rates are lower than the industry average, but that's just the nature of the hospitality industry.
And are there any plans to again permit smoking on the gaming floor?
No. I think I'd be run out of the building by my team. That I will say, from a customer standpoint, it's been okay. But from a team member standpoint, it's probably the best decision we as a management team have made in terms of the team members. You're on one hand, you're paying for their health care. On the other hand, they're in a smoking environment. So I understand it's a decision for each company themselves. We called it the grand experiment. After the pandemic, we actually smoked for one day. And then once we opened on June 29th of 20, we were walking the floor, decided that we didn't like what we saw in terms of compliance with mask mandates and things, and people like literally poking holes and smoking through their masks. And we were just like, what's the use of this? And so we said, we're just going to stop smoking. And then when we had the opportunity to bring it back up, we said, well, let's just leave it and see what happens. And I think our customers have adapted and our team members love it.
And then next I'll reference 22 if you want to look at it.
Yes.
Yeah, regarding the taxes. So the taxes from sports betting, does that include both online and retail sports betting?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And final question, is Parx Casino facing any particular challenges to revenue and tax generation growth?
Yeah, I think you can see, as I alluded, our slot revenues since 2019 are down. We're down low single-digit percentage last year. Table revenue's been pretty stable, and we've spent a lot of time repositioning our table business. What I have noticed, there's a couple of factors. Inflation has taken out a certain level of customer in terms of they just don't have the discretionary income. Skill games have affected our operations. As you know, I think we've been one of the most vocal as a company about the impact of skill games on the business. I would say, Ben Salem passed an ordinance recently banning skill games except in bars and taverns and clubs. Prior to that, there were 300 skill games in Ben Salem alone. And you think about that, every dollar that's going in to a skill game is a dollar that theoretically would have gone to Parx, 54 cents of which would have come back to the taxpayers of Pennsylvania in some way, shape, or form, 35% of it going to property tax. And I don't have to tell you all this, you understand it, but that has for sure impacted our business. The proportionate impact to slots over the last 5 years has been a lot worse than it has been on our table games business, which some of it's online, I think. There is some drag to the online side of the business, but the impact to slots has been materially worse for us than it has been to table games. Going forward, it's probably everybody who wants a skill game probably has one at this point. I do think if the legislature were to tax and regulate skill games in some sensible manner, the competitive balance would kind of rebalance. For instance, Virginia, when they banned skill games, their revenues went up 11% pretty quickly. That's a lot of money when you think about what we generate in terms of impact. And so competitively, I'd say that's the biggest risk we see out there. Atlantic City's pretty stable in terms of their competitive. We compete with Borgata and Hard Rock and Ocean. All of us do in the Philly side of the region. Within Philadelphia, the competitive environment's pretty stable. So I think skill games are always the wild card, particularly when you're seeing 50 games in a storefront somewhere, and that's going to have an impact.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Thank you.
Okay, I will turn to board members if they have any questions. I'll start at the far side. Commissioner Dunbar.
Thank you. First off, I commend you for your community involvement. It seemed to be the theme throughout everything, and I'm sure if there was a Ben Salem Notary Award, you'd get that too. With that being said, I also saw that your goals were to hire locally and diversity locally. I didn't see in there, and maybe I missed it, the casino industry is a relatively transient industry, especially in the management level. Your management hires, what percentage are from within and what are from outside of the organization?
It's a good question. So I've been here 5 years. I brought Karen into the senior team 3 years ago. She's the only outsider we've brought in, and since I've been here to the senior team. Everything else has been promoted from within. We've had a few retirements, and so we've used that as an opportunity to promote a new general manager, a new vice president of gaming operations, a new VP of HR. She was here somewhere a little while ago. And so I think we have a pretty special group of people and really know what they're doing. And below, certainly below my level, and below, Karen's level of the organization, we have an incredibly talented group of people who literally could run that building without any of us showing up at work at all. They're that good at what they do. And so whenever we can, we give them opportunities to advance. So when we bought the hotel, the woman who runs our environmental services group, which is an incredibly competent operation. If you've been to the facility, you see how clean it is. She had a hotel background. We put her in charge of overseeing our hotel operations. And so where we can, we'll expand scope, we'll expand duties, and as our team retires, we're always looking to develop the next person.
Thank you.
Commissioner Dillon.
The one question that I have which you already touched on, so it's no longer needs to be answered, was the skill games effect on your business. I have nothing further.
Commissioner Dermody, you're on.
Just one question. The non-smoking, when you implemented the non-smoking after the pandemic, did you notice any change in your business?
I think, I'm sure it did affect the business negatively. I was in Colorado, working in Colorado when smoking was banned there, and our revenues dropped. This is a different company, but they dropped 15 or 18% pretty quickly. The hard part was during the pandemic, it was hard to see what was causing people to come and go. And so I can't really isolate that from the noise. Today, I don't think it affects us. I'm sure there's some customers who will go somewhere else because they can smoke while they're playing. But we really try to differentiate with the asset and the service and the people, and hope that that overcomes any objections they have. So most customers we found, it's been positive.
You probably get some business because of the non-smoking.
What was
You
that?
probably get some business
Yeah,
because it's
I
non-smoking.
think that's been slower to spread, but people come in, we see a lot of people come into the Excite Center for shows who've never been to the casino before, and they automatically assume that it's a smoking casino, and then they walk in and realize that it's a smoke-free environment, and they're pleasantly surprised. I do hear that quite a bit.
Good. Thank you.
Commissioner Manzano-Diaz, we'll start at the other end.
Yes, you talked about the MBE and the WBE in terms of your construction. What I'd like to know is, do you have a breakdown of the minority breakdown on that? So how many African Americans, how many Latinos, how many Asians? Do you have that breakdown by any chance?
Yeah, I don't think we have a breakdown, but we certainly can check back
Okay.
on that question. Yeah.
Okay. And I was interested in terms of your commitment to the education credit, tax
Yes.
credit, and like to know a little bit more how you participate in that.
Yeah, we have and traditionally have participated as a list that we get, and we review it, and if the money is there from the state with approval, then we go back to the list. There's a 2-year commitment, and we award on the basis of a 2-year commitment.
Thank you.
Commissioner McDermott took my question, but I just want to applaud you. I love the fact that you didn't bring smoking back. Yeah, I just want to applaud you for that, and also just say it was a really great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Chair Smiley.
It should pick it up, right?
I'm on.
Okay. Just a couple of questions. Unlike my colleagues who only have one each, I have a couple. With regard to the hotel, how many employees do you project being hired once it's up and operational?
22. We had 22 when we brought the hotel down. So we took it over, we ran it for a little while, then determined the best path was to close it. So we moved several of those employees to Parx while we're closed. Several employees didn't want to or couldn't go to Parx for whatever reason. So I think we'll probably be 22 to 30 as it ramps up.
And I think I might have received conflicting information in what you said and what you answered with OEC. And by the way, I like paper, so somebody gave me your PowerPoint, so I like to scribble on the PowerPoint. But when you said you train employees in responsible gaming who are customer-facing, so who's non-customer-facing that doesn't get trained on responsible gaming?
So for instance, cooks, stewards, folks that are cleaning kitchens, our stewarding team would be somebody that wouldn't get responsible gaming training.
But they do get unattended children training?
I
You said all
believe there's a
employees.
certain level of training for all of them. Certainly there's training when they start. I don't know if it's necessarily recurring. I mean, there's a variety of folks in the facility, for instance, revenue audit, that's never in the casino floor. They're just not. They're up in the mezzanine level, and so there are some folks that get carved out by proxy of the fact that they're never interacting with the guest. They might as well be working in a corporate office offsite. And then there's a handful within the casino complex that don't ever face a guest or aren't on the casino floor, like Storting would be one of them, where they're deep cleaning kitchens while they're closed overnight.
So they don't get the unattended children training?
I don't, do we?
They do through
Yeah.
OSHA.
They do through OSHA. So we have a,
Part of OSHA
yeah,
training.
it's a module of OSHA where they would get it through OSHA because it's a module that sits within our OSHA training. Now, obviously, they're getting OSHA because they're dealing with hazardous materials. And so there's this, as I mentioned, there's a broad module we do of OSHA, responsible alcohol service, unattended minors, children in cars, responsible, all of that is given to everybody, but there's other folks who get more detailed training depending on what their job function is. But that's kind of the broad, it's a really sort of broad overbrush for people who don't really need a lot of that, but it's more specialty oriented.
Okay. And do you have tuition reimbursement?
We do, yes. It's not widely used, but we do offer it.
And Parx University, when your employees go through Parx University, are they employees that want to become promoted and go into management, or are those employees that have already been tapped to go into management and then you give them the training? How does that work?
It's a great question. It really varies depending on the department. So within each department, they nominate team members for Parx University, and then they'll say, you know, Karen, are you interested in attending Parx University? And then the team member either says yes or no. Because it is a big time commitment. It lasts several months, and they have homework and assignments, and I go in and speak to the group, and they have lecturers and folks like that. And most of the time, so our hierarchy is kind of line level, you know, manager, you know, director, that level. So most of the time, it's that mid-level, first management level position that goes to Parx University. Well, what we're trying to do is develop people so that if the next person up the chain, the director level or whatever, leaves, that we've got 3 or 4 people that we can choose from at all times. Like, for instance, our table games group has a VP, an assistant director, a director of table games, an assistant director of table games, and then we have 4 shift managers, all of whom are any one of those folks, if they needed to, could walk in and run the table games group. And so we're always focused on getting the next person ready for whatever the position is. And more often than not, as I said, Parx University is really focused on developing managerial skills of managing people, not necessarily the technical skills. We assume you've got technical skills because you've been nominated for it.
No, that's excellent. Succession planning is very important.
As I mentioned, they can run that place fine without me. That's the goal.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And Ron, when you said that there were 15 how to do business with Parx meetings with MBE, WBE, and LBE suppliers and vendors, how are they scheduled? Are they annual? I mean, is there a schedule or what?
Yes, we work with the organization on available opportunity, because we feel that how to do business, sometimes it's a cumbersome understanding of how to do business with the gaming operation and how to become a supplier in the operation, and what are the tips, the uniqueness, and we've gotten the staff of the gaming board to help us in a lot of that. But yeah, we work with each organization, whether it be African American Chamber, Women's Business Enterprise Council, or the other chambers, to do a specific knowledge-based how to do business. We have our director of purchasing as part of that, and they'll talk about licensing and all the other things that need to be done that may be different from any other kinds of outreach that they do. So, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I don't, this PowerPoint's not up there again, but I think it's on PowerPoint number 10, where you have a picture of your sports book.
Mm-hmm.
Was that taken during the Eagles playoffs? That's why it's so
Now, as a person who grew up outside of New York, I have no comment.
Thank you, and I will echo my colleague, yes, excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Housekeeping matter, your PowerPoint. Move that as Parks Exhibit number 1. And do you have any objection from OEC?
No objection.
Okay.
That's all. Should
We'll
I
move
hand
that.
you a copy?
We have a copy,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
So we'll move that as power, do you have any other exhibits
We do not.
with you? Okay. So then we will move to hear from our government representatives. Is Senator Frank Ferry, did he arrive? There he is. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Chair, Commissioners, thank you for being here and joining us in the 6th Senatorial District on this important day. I do want to begin with something, controversial, I think, and I see there's some of my former colleagues from the western part of the state, but I think Mr. Dillon this may resonate with him. The one complaint I have is if Ron had maybe played for the Eagles back in the day, maybe we would have gotten that first Super Bowl a little earlier. But in all seriousness, thank you for being here. Prior to being elected to the Senate 2+ years ago, I served 7 terms in the House, and I served in a House seat which is a neighboring district to here. Representative Hogan is in the back here. He now serves in that House district, and I just want to highlight the regional component of this. We're going to hear from Representative Tomlinson in a few minutes. Now Commissioner DiGirolamo was the representative prior to Representative Tomlinson, and Parx regional impact has been very significant. I want you to know their interaction with their legislators is in both chambers, it is with both parties, and it is a regional representation that we work with Parx on. I've done a little bit of work in the legislative space on these issues over the years during my time in the House, and now my time in the Senate. I'm actually carrying the skill game bill that I think is the right answer to solve this problem. I carried it last term, we're about to reintroduce it. But Parx has been a good ally to teach us Gaming 101, I will say. I went to a different Parx University, I guess. But in talking to the gaming interests across the state, and as we've worked to develop that legislation, by the way, my office and myself had over 100 stakeholder meetings. So we took it very, very seriously, what we were working towards. But in my previous capacity as a representative, my current capacity as senator, and prior to that, I worked in municipal government in a neighboring township. And I can tell you what we were able to do with that local share revenue that we get that runs through our redevelopment authority was very significant. I've been the fire chief of my community for 25 years as a volunteer, and we had some very specific projects that we would not have been able to fund, or the municipality would have had to raise property taxes, but for the contributions of local share going to pay for air packs, going to pay for a fire truck project we were doing. And that impact covers multiple communities from small boroughs to larger townships, but that has made a difference with the property tax rate for our local property tax payers. So if Parx was not here, that revenue would not have been available for those projects. And the public safety ones, whether it's police equipment, vehicles, our EMS gets money from it, our volunteer fire service gets money from it, it has made our community safer by having access to that money. And I think that's something very important to highlight. Parx's charitable contribution, I don't want to bear repeating what was a great presentation, but their charitable contributions have been difference-making. When we have a challenge in the community and they need some funding, we know we can go to Parx and it gets funded to help those charitable groups. The disability community has benefited. Ron has served on the Board of Wood Services, which is one of the entities listed. My full disclosure, my wife works there, but Parx's sponsorship of some of their programs has also helped our disability community. Obviously, Habitat's here. Many of our other groups, you may not have known what all those names were on there, but they are the heart and soul of our community when people are in need, and Parx has been huge in funding them. We talked about the financial investment that they have made, but it bears repeating that is employing. So we talked about who Parx employs, but they also employ members of our building trades, whether it's through maintenance or when they're renovating the building or having expansions, local suppliers, right? All the indirect benefits we get for our small businesses and our workforce in the community is so important. And if Parx wasn't here, and if Parx wasn't continuing to try and reach that high level they have reached and continuing to try and exceed that every time, our regional economy would not be where it is today. If they talked about the improvements since they last went through this process, whether it's a sports betting location, what they're doing with the hotel now, which is going to be fantastic for our community. All that is stuff Parx doesn't need to acquire a hotel. Obviously, it's probably good for their business model, but even as we're working our way through the negative impacts COVID had on them, as well as the very serious impact skill game has had on the gaming industry across this Commonwealth, as well as our lottery, by the way, Parx is continuing to still try and do the right thing and build the right model here. We're very proud to have them in our community. I really don't want to repeat anything that they've already said because you've already heard it. You've already provided feedback on it. But I can just tell you as a lifelong resident of Lower Bucks County who literally grew up in a neighboring community, have been a volunteer firefighter for 35 years, have worked in municipal government in a neighboring community, and now served in both chambers in the state legislature, I can tell you I don't know of another industry, right, or more specifically and more importantly, a business that has had such an impact on our community in a positive way, and obviously the Commonwealth as a whole. So as Eric mentioned, I don't think you're going to find too many businesses that have paid that much in taxes over the years. If you think about it, that 54%, I mean, the government, our state actually owns more of the dollars going in the machine than the business does itself. But it has made a significant difference. So hopefully as you work through hopefully renewing this license, please realize the tremendous impact Parx has had, and they've been a leader and a model both in what they are required to do, but also what they choose to do. And I think that is something that's very important. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have it. Otherwise, I just ask you consider an affirmative vote for renewing their license.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you for the time.
Representative Kathleen Tomlinson.
Good morning. I'm State Representative Casey Tomlinson. I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge all that Parks and Gaming has done for our community and the entire state. As you heard, casinos contribute 54% of slot revenue and 16% of table revenue, which adds up to hundreds of millions annually. The benefits of these funds are statewide, going to education, senior services, and property tax relief. Parx alone employs over 2,000 people, and at least 300 are from right here in Bensalem. Every year, Parx pays at least $10 million in local property taxes alone, which directly benefits Bensalem homeowners, my constituents. Not to mention the community partner they have been. They are very much involved and extremely generous locally. I can't emphasize that enough. I believe they've spent over $70 million to date on sponsorships and donations. For all these reasons and many more, I would kindly ask that their license be renewed. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Eugene DiGirolamo. We'll get the whole family.
I'm here.
Careful.
Good job.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming.
Good morning, almost afternoon. Good to see everybody. Welcome, Madam Chair, the members of the Gaming Board, good to see you. I've got to give a shout out to, I served 25 years in Harrisburg, representing this district here in Bensalem, my hometown. George Dunbar, who I worked with on my side of the aisle, and my good friend Frank Dermody, who I worked with on the other side of the aisle. And we had a lot of fun together. We really did.
Yeah, we did.
And I was going to ask Frank if it would be okay if I made a motion. So that's an inside joke. Well, good morning and welcome. We're just so happy and proud to have you here today to our beautiful community, Bensalem. And everybody thinks the mayor is my brother. He is actually my uncle, my dad's brother. So we're not brothers. He's my uncle, and he's been here, the mayor of Bensalem, 32 years this year, 32. And I represented the district in Harrisburg for 25, and I've been now in my 6th year as county commissioner. We are just so very, very proud of our community here in Bensalem. It's about 65, maybe a few more thousand residents. We're very diverse. Money Magazine, which is a national publication, a number of years ago named Bensalem one of the 50 best places to live in the United States, not in Pennsylvania, in the United States. Quite an honor that we were recognized that way. I've lived here my whole life. I just turned 75 years old on Monday, March 28th. Grew up with the mayor. We had a farm here in Bensalem, right down the road, only a few miles down the road. This was a farming community back in the 50s when I grew up, and the 60s, and about 1965, they put I-95 right there on Street Road, and once that happened, the community just grew and flourished and grew up, and it is what we have today, just a wonderful community. We're very diverse, not only culturally, but we have so many different religions and churches here in Bensalem, and we are just so proud. We've got a great group of people. We get along well. We're just so proud. And Parx Casino is such a big part of our community. And you've seen all the slides, so I'm not going to go into it. When the bill was passed back in 2004, I had a bill. And I had moved the bill out of the House, and it dealt with something over at the racetrack, I think dealing with security, and moved over into the Senate. And I got to give a shout out to my former senator, Casey's father, Senator Tomlinson, because he was over in the Senate. And they took that little bill of mine, and they added the language for the casino, or what would be the casino bill, over in the Senate. And it came back to the House, and it passed. Frank, you were there, you remember, passed with bipartisan support. And myself and the mayor and Senator Tomlinson, when we started doing this, when we worked on this together, I mean, there were a lot of our constituents that were concerned about traffic and crime and not in my backyard. And boy, we held a lot of public hearings and meetings, and we assured them that we were going to work to make sure that none of the things that they said they were worried about were going to happen. And I can tell you, 20 years later, it has worked out perfectly. It has not been a home run, it's been a grand slam for our community. The number of jobs that they created, many of those jobs, and again, I represent the county, many of those jobs are local jobs and county jobs. It's just amazing. It's over, I believe it's over 2,000 jobs. The money that they put back into the community, not only to the township, but to the county, it's been incredible. The number of groups and organizations, and some of them are here. I see Florence is here. Florence, good to see you from Habitat for Humanity. The amount of money that they put into these groups and organizations is just amazing. The NAACP here, I see Karen's here. This has just been incredible. And how many of you remember Smarty Jones? Remember Smarty Jones? Yeah, some people are waving their hand. Smarty Jones with the horse was right here in our racetrack here. And Frank, if you remember, when we were doing the bill, we were talking about the casinos got started, they would save the horse racing industry here in Pennsylvania. And that was one of the things that we use. And it's become true, because we still have horse racing here in Bensalem. And if it wasn't for the casinos, there would be no horse racing here in Bensalem. There would be no horse racing in the state of Pennsylvania. I don't believe so. So I'm just here to just wholeheartedly, I mean, I can't say it any clearer, wholeheartedly support Parx Casino as they try for their renewal for their license. And I can't say enough about the good work that they do. The people are just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. They put so much back into the community. I mean, it's so easy to work with. And again, it's not just the money that was in the bill where the townships get 2% and 1% of the table games and the county gets 2%. That money's been incredible, but it's the money that they, in addition to that they give to the community, to these groups and organizations. They are so, so generous. We are so happy to have them here. And I just love Parx. I mean, I don't know what else to say. So thank you very much. I don't think anybody has any questions.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are going to take a 5-minute break, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes, and we'll pick up with our Office of Enforcement Counsel presentation.
I think they have, I don't know if they're going to have any more questions for us after that. I'll double check, and then if not, then we can bring the next 3 individuals.
Yeah, we'll go back. You're good. Thanks.
If you need me.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I know where you are.
5 minutes away.
That's a little too. Thank you as always.
I want to keep it short. That's all good.
So we have our court reporter down there at the end. Is she ready? Is she good? Okay. That's who actually really matters, is the court reporter. So we will get started now. Again, we will, OEC's presentation.
Thank you, Director Lloyd. We'll go ahead. Prior to this hearing, the Office of Enforcement Counsel provided the board and Parx Casino with documents marked as OEC Exhibits 1 through 9, which relate to the Parx Casino's renewal application for its Category 1 slot machine license. The Office of Enforcement Counsel and Parx Casino entered into stipulations regarding the admissibility and authenticity of these exhibits. These include the 2019 through 2024 Senate reports addressing criminal incidents that occurred at Parx Casino since the time of its last renewal. This report is marked as OEC Exhibit 1. Bureau of Liquor Control Enforcement letter issued to OEC dated March 14th, 2025, indicating 2 actions taken against the licensee since its last renewal. This letter is marked as OEC Exhibit 2. March 11th, 2025, memorandum issued by the board's Office of Compulsive and Problem Gambling regarding Parx Casino's compliance with its casino and iGaming compulsive and problem gambling plans. This memo is marked as OEC Exhibit 3. Copy dated March 13th, 2025, issued by the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue, Bureau of Compliance of Parx Casino's statement of account indicating Parx Casino is in good standing with the Department of Revenue. This is marked as OEC Exhibit 4. In a letter dated March 14th, 2025, issued to OEC by the Pennsylvania State Horse Racing Commission, indicating the licensee is in good standing with the commission. This letter is marked as OEC Exhibit 5. The Office of Enforcement Counsel and Parx Casino's stipulation of facts and admission of evidence executed by the parties on March 27th, 2025 is included and marked as OEC Exhibit 6. Office of Enforcement Counsel's Exhibits 7, 8, and 9 are not before you today, but remain accessible through a shared link previously provided to Parx Casino and members of the board. Regarding these exhibits, since its last renewal, the Office of Enforcement Counsel and the licensee entered into 4 board-approved consent agreements. Together, these are marked as Office of Enforcement Counsel Exhibit 7. OEC and the licensee conducted 6 compliance conference memorandums since the last renewal. Together, these are marked as OEC Exhibit 8. OEC has issued Parx Casino 27 warning letters since the last renewal. Parx Casino has appropriately responded to each warning letter. These are marked as OEC Exhibit 9. At this time, the Office of Enforcement Counsel respectfully requests that Exhibits 1 through 9 be entered into the record, with Exhibits 8 and 9 be marked as confidential.
Does Parx have any objection to those?
No objection.
So those are entered into the record with 8 and 9 remaining confidential.
Thank you. The Office of Enforcement Counsel will call 3 witnesses today to testify about Parx Casino for your benefit. The witnesses are from the Pennsylvania State Police, the Board's Bureau of Compliance, and the Board's Bureau of Investigations and Enforcement. With your permission, Director Lloyd, I will call my first witness.
Yes, and I believe they were sworn at the beginning, Parx, I think, so.
And I'm going to begin with actually she's listed third, Pennsylvania State Police. The Office of Enforcement Counsel calls Lauren Pizzini from the Pennsylvania State Police.
Good afternoon.
And you can there or there, wherever you're more comfortable. Either or, whichever you're comfortable with.
Is it okay with the
That's
little
fine.
folio here? Thanks.
Good afternoon, Sergeant. Would you please state and spell your name?
Sure. Lauren Piccini, Lauren Piccini.
Can you please describe your career with the Pennsylvania State Police?
Yes, I've been employed for almost 17 years with the Pennsylvania State Police.
And can you describe your duties in your current position?
Currently, I'm the office commander of PSP at Parx Casino.
And can you explain a little bit what you do as your duties?
My office investigates the criminal activity in the gaming-related areas of the casino.
Regarding the police jurisdiction of Parx Casino, where is the Pennsylvania State Police responsible for the gaming floor and related areas?
Yes.
Does the Pennsylvania State Police share jurisdiction of Parx Casino with any other law enforcement agency?
Yes. Ben Salem PD.
Thank you. And which law enforcement agency has primary jurisdiction over the Parx Casino parking lots?
The parking lot is Ben Salem PD.
And what areas of Parx Casino are the Pennsylvania State Police responsible for?
According to our interrogative agreement, PSP is responsible for the gaming floor, including the bars and stages, sports wagering area, poker room, front lobby area, including the Parx gift shop, restrooms, and the valet cashier, our PSP gaming office, the PGCB office, casino administrative offices, casino security offices, casino surveillance room and offices, VIP gaming areas, slot repair, the main bank, including but not limited to all man traps, soft count room, storage areas, cashier windows, and adjacent bank-related offices, G-Tech room and administrative office, meeting rooms, warehouse space located on level 2, and the main floor casino.
Thank you. Can you please describe the working relationship between the Pennsylvania State Police and the Ben Salem Police Department?
We have a very good working relationship with them.
And can you please describe the working relationship between the Pennsylvania State Police and Parx Casino personnel?
Very good relationship with them as well.
Are the Pennsylvania State Police satisfied with the level of cooperation between Parx Casino and the troopers stationed within the facility?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please describe the working relationship that the Pennsylvania State Police personnel have with personnel from the Board's Bureau of Casino Compliance assigned to Parx Casino?
Very good as well.
Are you familiar with how the Pennsylvania State Police track Parx Casino's crime statistics?
Yes.
And can you briefly describe how those statistics are recorded?
They are done electronically through our record management system, RMS, and also annually through our Senate report that we compile.
Has this process of reporting statistics changed since Parx Casino's slot machine license was last renewed in May 2019?
Yes.
Can you briefly describe how the reporting of criminal statistics has changed?
Yes, the statistics were previously manually entered into the UCR, the Uniform Crime Recording, by our corporals in our office, our supervisors, and that job has since moved to an electronic process, again through the RMS system.
I'm going to direct you to what has been provided as OEC Exhibit 1. Can you identify the document and where it came from?
That's the annual Senate report that I just referenced, and that was prepared by the corporals.
In calculating the criminal statistics, how is one individual being arrested for multiple offenses reflected?
Every offense is recorded separately.
And what years are reflected?
2019 through 2024.
Have you reviewed the arrest statistics for Parx Casino for the time period represented here?
Yes.
What criminal offense has the greatest number of incidents reported based on the information provided?
Trespassing.
Can you give an example of the type of conduct that results in a person being charged with this type of offense?
The most common two instances that we run across are a patron being permanently evicted at the discretion of the casino personnel, or when a patron would voluntarily enroll in the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board self-exclusion program, and then they come back to the casino in defiance of either one of those.
And is there any reason or explanation for why this offense has occurred at the reported level?
No.
Regarding other offenses occurring at Parx Casino, how common are theft offenses?
Not very common.
Violent crimes?
Again, not very common.
And how common are crimes involving individuals under 21 years old?
That's very uncommon.
Throughout your assignment at Parx Casino, after reviewing this data, have you noticed any patterns or trends in the type of offenses occurring at Parx Casino?
No, ma'am.
Are you aware of any issues or concerns which would negatively impact Parx Casino's suitability for continued licensure at this time?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does Parx have any questions for
We do not.
the sergeant? Okay, any board members?
Sarah.
How many times have the state police been called for unattended children, minors, in the parking lot or in the hotel? Have they been called?
We have been called. Again, the parking lot, the primary jurisdiction is for Ben Salem PD. We do get notification of any instances of an unattended minor, a kid left in a car, anything like that. And my office will respond just to make sure that the child is safe. But again, that's Ben Salem PD's responsibility, primary responsibility.
But do you have any idea in terms of, within the last 5 years, how many times that those kinds of incidences have occurred?
Again, I would reference Ben Salem PD for that. They're the one making the actual arrest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sergeant, how long have you been in this position?
In this position since August of 2024.
And what were you doing before that?
I was a corporal. Prior to that, I spent approximately 1 month out in Erie when I got promoted. I was a patrol sergeant out there, and prior to that, I was a corporal at Wind Creek Casino in their gaming office.
At Wind Creek Casino?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have casino experience before you?
I do. I've worked as a trooper, a corporal, and a sergeant in the Bureau of Gaming Enforcement.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
OEC would like to call its next witness, Jesse Schell, from the board's Bureau of Casino Compliance.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Would you please state and spell your full name?
Jesse Schell, Jesse-Schell.
Are you employed by the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board?
Yes, I am.
And what is your job title?
I am a supervisor at Parx Casino for the Bureau of Casino Compliance.
And how long have you held this position?
Nearly 3 years.
And have you previously held other positions within the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board?
Yes, I was a casino compliance representative prior to that since 2018 at Parx Casino and at Live Philadelphia.
And can you, when was the time for your Live Philadelphia?
From the time it opened in approximately 2020, 2021, right in there, and then up until the time I was promoted in March of 2022.
Thank you. And what are your responsibilities as a Bureau of Casino Compliance Supervisor for Parx Casino?
I oversee the Bureau of Casino Compliance Parks office. I supervise a staff of 8 casino compliance representatives.
And does this include interaction with the Department of Revenue regarding Parx Casino?
When needed or requested, we act as a liaison for the Department of Revenue.
Can you describe the role of the Bureau of Casino Compliance at a licensed Pennsylvania casino?
Regulatory review and oversight of Parx Casino. All BCC staff are familiar with the board's regulations as well as Parx internal controls.
Can you describe the type of access that the Bureau of Casino Compliance has within Parx Casino and the following departments? The surveillance room.
We have full access.
Count room.
Count room, we have full access.
And is there any other monitoring?
Yes, we monitor the daily table games counts.
Central control computer room.
We have emergency access, but we also monitor that.
Are or were there any issues with the connectivity regarding the central control computer at Parx Casino during the renewal period?
Not that I'm aware of.
Any other important departments for monitoring?
We monitor table games, poker, slot department, security, player service.
Was there ever a need for emergency access to any of Parx Casino's departments during the renewal period?
No, not that I'm aware.
Does the Bureau of Casino Compliance interact with Parx patrons?
Yes, occasionally.
And does the Bureau of Casino Compliance respond to the patron complaints?
Yes. If we get a patron complaint, we'll do an investigation and provide an unbiased investigation, and we'll advocate for the patrons when it's appropriate.
And does the Bureau of Casino Compliance conduct self-exclusion intakes?
They're primarily done online now, but we do some of them whenever somebody would need assistance or want to come to the office, they can.
Can you describe the process?
Yes, so if they were going to come into the casino and want to sign up, we'd explain it to them in detail. We have a computer there, they can do it online if they prefer. If not, we can print out the paperwork and assist them going through that.
Can you describe the relationship between the Bureau of Casino Compliance and members of the Pennsylvania State Police that are on site at Parx Casino?
We have a great relationship.
Can you describe the relationship between the Bureau of Casino Compliance and Parx Casino staff?
Yes, we also have a great relationship with them.
And has Parx Casino staff been cooperative in compliance reviews conducted by the Bureau of Casino Compliance?
Yes, they have.
Are you familiar with typical regulatory issues found at Pennsylvania casinos in general? And have anything occurred at Parx Casino?
Nothing remarkable since I've been there.
Are the regulatory issues that occur at Parx Casino comparable to the regulatory issues found at other casinos in
I would say
Pennsylvania?
they're similar to any other licensed facility in the state.
And are there any issues or concerns that would negatively impact Parx Casino's suitability for continued licensure?
No, I don't believe so.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Does Parks have any questions for this witness?
We do not.
Okay. Any commissioner questions? No. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My final witness, would you Mark Mercury from Board's Bureau of Investigations and Enforcement?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Would you please state your full name and spell your last name?
Yes, ma'am. My first name is Mark, M-A-R-C. Last name is Merciore, M-E-R-C-H-I-O-R-E.
Are you employed by the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board?
Yes, I am.
And what is your job title?
My job title is Investigator Supervisor.
Do you serve any other roles?
At the time of the renewal for Parks, I also served as the acting BIE case agent assigned to Parx Casino.
And how long have you held the position of Investigator Supervisor?
I was promoted to Investigator Supervisor in July of 2021.
And have you previously held any other positions within the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board?
Yes, I have.
Can you expand on the years you have?
I served as an investigator from March of 2020 until my promotion in July of 2021.
And what are your responsibilities as an investigator supervisor for the Bureau of Investigations and Enforcement?
As an investigator supervisor, I supervise a team of investigators who conduct background investigations as well as any enforcement investigations requested by OEC that are assigned to the Conshohocken Regional Office. And one of the casinos we cover is Parx Casino.
What are your responsibilities as a case agent for the Bureau of Investigations and Enforcement?
As a case agent, I would make a monthly visit to Parx Casino, kind of act as that liaison between BIE and the front office at the casino, most importantly, the compliance personnel at Parx as well as human resources. I also was tasked with conducting the background investigations for principal employees, key employees, vendors, principal entities, as well as any other enforcement investigations that were requested by OEC.
As mentioned, you conducted the investigation of Parx Casino for its slot machine license renewal application.
Yes, I did.
And when did the Bureau of Investigations and Enforcement begin its renewal investigation into Parx Casino?
It was approximately at the beginning of January of 2024.
Can you describe the scope of the investigation?
Sure. BIE conducted a thorough review of the application and verified all the information contained therein. I also conducted a query of other state and federal regulatory agencies such as the EPA, OSHA, the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue, as well as Ben Salem Township.
And when was Parx Casino's slot machine license last renewed by the board?
It was on May 15th of 2019.
And does this investigation include a review of Parx Casino from the date of the last slot machine license renewal to present?
Yes, it does.
Did the Bureau of Investigations and Enforcement review the renewal applications filed by Parx Casino, its principals, principal affiliates, and affiliates?
Yes, it did.
And did the investigation include a review of the following? Criminal history checks,
Yes.
civil litigation history checks,
Yes.
tax clearances,
Yes,
a review of the Pennsylvania Control Board regulatory history,
it did.
a review of any enforcement actions taken against Parx Casino by OEC.
Yes, it did.
Has Parx Casino personnel been cooperative during the investigation?
Yes, they have.
And is the investigation complete?
It is.
Did the Bureau of Investigations and Enforcement discover any areas of interest during the course of this investigation?
No, we did not.
I have no further questions.
Does Parks have any questions for the witness?
We do not.
Any from our commissioners? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have nothing further at this time, but I thank you all for your time and your attention.
So we will now move to one housekeeping matter. We received one written comment through the board's clerk email address from Central Bucks Chamber of Commerce, President and CEO Teresa Farah, in support of your renewal, and I provided a copy to the parties, and we'll enter that into the record as hearing exhibit number 1, if I don't hear any objections. Okay. That is done, and we will now move to the rest of the public comment portion of the hearing. As I call your name, if you can stand up, I have a list. Richard Snow. Is Richard Snow here? Do not see Richard Snow.
Earlier. He was here earlier.
He was here early, okay. Karen Downer? Karen Downer, can you stand? Oh, stand up, thank you. Florence Kowalska, and I'm sorry if I...
She just left.
Okay. And if you could remain standing, I'm going to have you sworn in. Karen O'Donnell? William Ferrara? Christopher Francis? And Patty Conroy? And is there anybody here who expected to provide public comment and I have not called your name? If so, can you raise your hand? I don't see any hands. So I'll have the court reporter swear you, this group, in at this time.
Will you please all raise your right hands? And do you swear or affirm that your testimonies today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
So Karen Downer, I think, is number 1. If you want to come up to the podium and...
Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully my voice holds up. This is allergy season. But I would like to, first of all, thank you to the board and to Parx Casino. I am so pleased with this opportunity to be able to talk about our relationship with them. My organization is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People of Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I serve as president of the branch from November 2017 to January 2025. In January, I stepped down to become the first vice president of the organization and to help mentor a next generation of leaders. The NAACP was founded in 1909 in Springfield, Illinois, as a result of the violence and lynching of black citizens. In 1951, Bucks County branch was formed and became a chartered member of the national organization. We are bipartisan, and our mission is to advocate for the civil rights of all Americans. Prior to meeting and partnering with Parx Casino, I had heard a lot about them from a number of community residents who work for them. They had great things to say about them as an employer who was good to their employees. Whether you were a retiree, looking for something part-time, or disabled, or as a young person, just looking for that first job, Parx was highly recommended as an employer of choice for anyone wanting to really work. I have to say I have never heard a negative comment about them, and in fact, I am told they are a great company to work for. In 2016, I was introduced to Ron Davis and Parx by our previous branch president. She had contacted him about holding our annual banquet there, and I was banquet chair and in charge of organizing the event. I found Ron and his team very easy to work with, and so as the new branch president the following year, I approached them to again host our annual affair. Also, I wanted to recognize their growing connection to the Bucks County community By this time, Parx was gaining a reputation as a community leader, and we wanted to recognize their work with our Community Service Award. Our annual banquets are our primary fundraising event each year, and we aligned with Parx as our venue. They give us a fair price, which allows us to make a decent profit. The food is good, people know how to find the location, there's plenty of parking, the service is awesome, and many people head to the casino following our occasion. Ron Davis and my executive members have had a number of conversations around building a community partnership. Parx was already a corporate member of the NAACP branch, but they wanted to do more. We had been thinking about starting an annual scholarship fund for high school graduates, but did not have the funds to get started. So we had a discussion with Ron, who thought it was a wonderful idea and suggested that Parx would fund 3 scholarships annually beginning in 2019. Since that time, they have increased their contribution to $5,000 each year. Since we began this program, we have awarded scholarships to 20 Bucks County High School graduates bound for college or a secondary education who show scholastic aptitude and have financial need. I am saying all of this to say that Parx Casino has become an important partner, community member, and contributor to this community. NAACP Bucks County Branch not only asks you, but also encourages you to grant Parx Casino a renewal of their license. Thank you.
Thank you. And Florence. Or was Florence one of the ones that left? Okay, Karen O'Donnell. I knew there was one of the two if you were still here.
Good afternoon. My name is Karen O'Donnell, K-A-R-E-N-O D-O-N-N-E-L-L. I have the honor of serving as the Vice President for Advancement and Alumni Relation at Bucks County Community College since last week. However, I am a lifelong Bucks County resident. I have worked in several organizations throughout my life, and I've worked with Parx in other ways. But my role right now is to represent Bucks County Community College. And it's a privilege to stand before you today on behalf of the college to express our unwavering support for Parx Casino's gaming license renewal. Bucks County Community College is deeply embedded in the fabric of Bucks County, operating across 3 campuses and 2 fire burn sites. We proudly offer a diverse range of programs, from traditional associate degrees to workforce development and continuing education that fosters both professional and personal growth. And additionally, we are home to Pennsylvania's only firefighter training academy, further underscoring our commitment to the community. With more than 1,000 employees and over 6,000 undergraduate students, along with the countless others in our continuing ed and workforce development programs, our impact is far-reaching. Parx Casino has been a steadfast and invaluable partner in this mission. Their support has directly changed lives, funding scholarships for veterans, individuals with autism, students requiring accessibility services, and mothers striving to advance their education. These initiatives would provide crucial opportunities that, quite simply, would not exist without Parx generosity. So on behalf of Bucks County Community College and the broader Bucks County community, we offer our enthusiastic and wholehearted support for the renewal of Parx gaming license. And we deeply appreciate their partnership and look forward to many more years of working together to create lasting positive change. Thank you.
Thank you. William Ferrara.
Good afternoon. My name is Bill Ferreira. It's great pride that I introduce myself as the Executive Director of the Lower Bucks County Chamber of Commerce. The Lower Bucks County Chamber of Commerce has been in continuous existence since 1958, meeting the needs of Lower Bucks County and surrounding businesses. I've been in my role for a year, and I've had the opportunity to work with Ron and Parx to help us meet the needs of our members. The Lower Bucks County Chamber of Commerce is a membership-driven organization which functions on the dues of their members. We have over 450 members touching 5,000 lives throughout Bucks County. Parx has been what we call a platinum sponsor, which means they contribute $15,000 and then also their dues to help our chamber meet the needs of our members. To understand that what that really means, there's only 5 organizations in our chamber that does that. Along with contributing their great financial support, they also sponsor and house our Economic Development Conference every year. We will be having that conference April 23rd at Parx East. Ron mentioned that they help people understand how to do business with the casino. Every Economic Development Conference has a person speaking from Parx on how to accomplish that for our members. So we really value what they do for the economic part, because that's what we're here for. We're here to develop the economic opportunities for our members. But also, Parx is a major contributor to our Leadership Bucks County program, which is a 3-decade program which Parx has been involved with over the last 10 years. And we develop leaders that organizations believe should be on their bench to fulfill the roles that they talked about, bringing people up through the ranks. So we do that for all of our memberships, and Parx not only has people attend that, but they also contribute greatly to that. So like I said, it's a 30-year program, and Parx has been a major contributor for the last 10 to 15 years. Prior to coming to Parx, I had a 36-year career as a public educator in Pennsylvania. And during that time, I did everything from phys ed teacher to high school principal to superintendent. So when I took this position, one of the first people I reached out to was Ron, because I had some connections through Ben Salem School District. And Ron has been a great mentor to me. Ron has helped me understand that leadership is leadership, no matter where you're doing it. Just be upfront, honest with people, and they'll trust you. He's helped me take the chamber to places where it hasn't been for quite some time. And without Ron's guidance, I wouldn't be able to do that. But one of the things Parx talks about is community is during COVID, I was the high school principal at Ben Salem High School. And there was no thought of any potential graduation ceremony. So our mayor worked with Parx, and they opened up the parking lot, and they provided all the audio visual. So every student had his or her name announced, walked across the stage, shook hands, and received a diploma cover. Every parent was in the cars, listening and seeing and hearing their son or daughter get that graduation diploma. I will tell you, no one else in Bucks County had that type of cooperation between Mayor Joe and Parx to make a special event for kids and parents happen. So we've, as the Lower Bucks County Chamber of Commerce, and Teresa wrote her support, Parx has been a great partner for us. And we continue to foster relationships with them, but most importantly, we support them getting their license renewed. And one thing Parx talked about was how much community involvement they do and they support. Well, my wife and my mother-in-law are big supporters, especially through your slot machines. Thank you for your time and attention, and have a great day.
Thank you. Christopher Francis?
Good afternoon. Christopher Francis, Francis. I am the CEO of Living Grin and Chief Clinical Officer. We are the Addiction Treatment Center down the street from Parx. A mentor of mine once said, speak from the heart and don't use notes, and your message will be better received. I'm telling you that because if I go blank and embarrass myself, you all know why. The first thing I'd like to say is in terms of support, I couldn't ask for a better ally than Ron Davis in particular. He's a board member at Livingren, and since COVID, business hasn't been the best, and half the board was looking to sell to a commercial entity. So I didn't want that to happen, because if we do, we stop serving the underserved in the community. The one person that was the first to back me in my plan was Ron Davis, and because of him, we get to keep serving the underserved in the community. And I think that's one of the most important things you're going to hear today. We're talking about lives, real people's lives, and that's because of Ron. I know a lot of people have misconceptions about the casino. I did. I've been at Livingren for 21 years, and I've watched gambling addiction increase. And you look at the cases and you think, surely it's the casino and it's related to the casino, and ironically, it's not. It's these skill games, it's FanDuel, it's scratch-off tickets with young people. So they really do more good than you can possibly imagine. It's the perfect neighbor. And that's why they should have their license renewed. Thank you, Ron. Any questions for me?
Thank you. And Patty Conroy.
Hi, my name is Patty Conroy, and I am a development officer with Community College of Philadelphia. I'm proud to say that I've worked with Ron Davis and Parx Casino since 2015. And just a little bit about CCP, we're a very large, diverse, urban institution with many, many underserved students there. And I'm happy to report that Parx has been able to fund us with approximately $400,000 over the past 10 years in support of programs and much-needed scholarships for our students. So I'm proud to be here today in support of Parx Casino. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, is there anyone here that thought or would like to speak or make comments? Raise your hand. Seeing none? Oh, okay. And before you begin, I don't believe you stood up and were sworn, so we'll have our court reporter swear you in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that your testimony today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. My name is Mary Ann Griffin, two separate words, no E. Last name is Griffin. And I've lived in Ben Salem my entire life, but the one thing is with Parx Casino, I volunteer for a lot of organizations, and one of the ones is the American Cancer Society that I've volunteered for 17 years. Our local Relay for Life event has been held in Ben Salem for 25 years, and for the past 6 years, Parx Casino has been a gold sponsor of ours. They sponsor our Survivor Luncheon, they help sponsor our event, they help they help us find cures for cancer, because I also am on the advocacy side of the American Cancer Society. And with that, with Parx being a smoke-free casino, I get the opportunity to explain to all my Pennsylvania partners in ACS CAN, which is the Cancer Advocacy Group, how Parx is non-smoking. And for cancer, that's one of the biggest things that we push. We push for this free, smoke-free environment. Every year we try to get it through, but I'm proud when I'm on a call with all the rest of the representatives. I represent PA1 here in Pennsylvania. So when I'm on a call with all the other PAs in Pennsylvania, I get to tell them how Parx decided not to bring smoking back, and what they did with their employees to interview their employees and discuss with them, and how their employees said that smoking really hurt them. And secondhand smoke is the worst thing in the world to get, basically. But I just wanted to say, as being, like I said, with the American Cancer Society and what they do for us and for everybody else in this community, we're very grateful.
Thank you. So we'll turn to Parx. Do you have any closing remarks you'd like to make?
Well, Very brief closing remarks. I want to thank you all for coming to Ben Salem. I want to thank our elected officials and our leaders from the community for their testimony. I think they tell a better story than we do, which is always our goal. And thank you for the gaming board and the members of the staff for their hard work on relicensing and investigatory work and the preparation that goes into that. So we appreciate the effort there. And as I had said in the beginning, I think we, being Parx collectively and on behalf of 2,000 employees, have been a great story for our region. And we intend to continue to do so. And I would, respectfully ask that you renew our license when the time comes. And we appreciate your consideration very much and the time you've spent here learning more about our story as a group and a community. Thank you.
And does OEC have any closing remarks?
No closing remarks, just thank you very much again.
So the record will remain open until the board hears the matter at a later public board meeting. I'll prepare a report based upon the testimony and evidence entered into the record today. And that report, along with all transcripts and all the documents and the application, et cetera, will be given to the full board for their consideration when they hear the matter at a board meeting. So I want to thank the staff here at Ben Salem Township, Mayor DiGirolamo, and all of those who took time today to come and speak with us and share their thoughts. And the hearing is now adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.